And you're good. We're recording.
Okay, and you can see me okay. I don't know why my color is very strange tonight. It looks awfully red.
It does look a little different, but we
It
can
looks
see you.
different. I don't know what's wrong. Okay, so it's not quite that bright over here. uh, well, I so love this past 30 minutes. I mean, just listen to the stories, and we all got hair. That's another good thing. But anyway, our business is so built around stories, and the stories are so powerful. If you think about children, and the distress children have that just shouldn't be, and over the years, if anyone's joining us for the very first time, I have been with Juice Plus Company now for 32 years and counting, and looking forward to the next 32. And what a blessing, it's been. And I love all the stories. I mean, we go from, athletes, Dwayne sharing his story, Lori, all of you tonight, just beautiful information, and should all give us a great deal of, courage as far as sharing this with other people and feeling like, an obligation as well. Certainly, because it's only fair that everybody should hear about this. And of course, right now, we all find ourselves in, I guess, a really interesting and challenging situation as far as our country and, the world from a health standpoint. And I think I have Dr. Tamara Sachs with me. Dr. Sachs, are you here? And she joined us. I know she was finishing a call right at 9 o'clock her time. She might be finishing up and was going to join us. And she was just going to talk to us a little bit about, be calm and take control. And I think that's a very important message right now, is to be calm and take control and really do, the things that we need to do for ourselves, to be cautious, but at the same time, all of us, that the state of health and the concerns over health right now are certainly a call to action for all of us, and for us to make sure that we're really assertive in sharing with other people what we have to offer. Because we do. I mean, just looking at our research studies, we know what we have to offer, and that it's quite powerful. So let me just see if Dr. Sachs is not with us yet. Let me just give her a minute, since this is a little bit of an informal call. Let me just give her a quick note and see if she's about to join us soon. And if not, I will continue on with what I was going to do with you all, okay?
Yeah, I don't see her yet, so.
Okay, let me just see.
And this is Tracy Prow. I just got off the call with Tamara. She is planning on joining, so I'm sure she's working on it.
She'll be here in a minute then. That's really good.
She might have the wrong phone number, though. We need to text her
Nope,
the proper.
she has it. She repeated it on our call.
Okay.
Okay, so, and you got on it because of that number, right?
Correct.
Okay, real good. Well, maybe one of the things I'll share with you all is what has more or less happened from my own standpoint of the way I'm thinking. In 30 years, I've certainly not seen us in any type of situation like we are right now. And some parts of the country affected more than others. And, the uncertainty of life is always the hardest thing to deal with. But my feeling, and it's very strong inside me, is, there are times when all of us are, we think, well, we've approached so-and-so and told them about our product and they weren't interested, or told them about our business, they weren't interested. And then we just kind of back off, and then we get busy and we don't always share with everybody we come across. And I just made a commitment to myself. I know it's been almost a week ago, that everybody that I love and care about, they're getting a whole new story from me, from the standpoint of, you've got to listen. You have to listen, because now, I know what my product will do for you. I know what it'll do for me, and I know what it does for my family. And everybody needs as much protection as they can get. And so I am much more assertive, let's put it that way, in what I have to offer people than I've ever been before. And I'm not hesitant about it, and I'm not feeling, what would I say, the word's not really embarrassment. It's like, I'm not inhibited in any way as far as telling people what I have to offer from a product standpoint, because I think it's vital for everyone right now. I've also started doing something I haven't done in a long time. I usually always carry cards with me, my cards to hand to people, but when I talk to them during the day, but I don't usually carry, the brochures, all this stuff, because we always feel like, well, we have got, technology to refer people to, things of that nature. I changed that also. And so in the past 3 days, I have been carrying, the brochure that I'll show it to you all. This one I happen to like. But one that it's like Real Nutrition, Real Simple. And it's got the capsules on the back, and it tells just a little bit about everything right to the growing process. I've been carrying this with me and my cards, and I've got one in my hand everywhere I go. Yesterday morning, the plumber went on the product. Okay, plumber's been here a number of times. I've not had this intense conversation with the plumber before. Okay, the chiropractor that I see is now on the product as of yesterday. I was in a place called Joe and the Juice, which I stop by often to get a turmeric and ginger shot. I talked to 2 people in there today. They've got this information. I talked to a man in the grocery store today. We were both in the health section looking for what else could we do to boost our immune system. And I said, I've been doing this for 27 years and I couldn't be without it. I'm on it, okay? And I'm on it everywhere I go. And what I'm finding too is that because right now everybody has the same concern, and it's the concern over how to take care of themselves from this standpoint of uncertainty. So people are talking to each other. I find I'm standing in the grocery store, I'm in the juice bar, I'm wherever I am, people are talking about where we are as a nation and as a world. And so this is our call to action. It is time for us to make sure that we share with people without hesitation, without, feeling inhibited anyway, or without thinking, maybe they will, maybe they won't. What are they going to think? I don't care what they think anymore. They're going to hear. And so that's kind of where I am on this. Is Dr. Sachs with us yet tomorrow? By any chance? Okay. Well,
I am, Cheryl. I'm here. I was just
okay, great. So, and it's always nice to have a doctor in the house. And so, and again, tomorrow you and I have talked, and we all, as we know, this is a very unusual place for us all to find ourselves. So I know that you speak to this very well, and I'd like for you to share with people, and then we'll talk about it. This is a relatively small call compared to, a lot of the things that we do as an organization. So we'll talk back and forth, any of you, but right now let's hear what Dr. Sachs has to say.
Thanks, Cheryl. Thanks for asking me to speak for a few minutes. I've been following this very closely. Only Rick Du Bois would be the one I would, in our business, defer to at this point, because he's an infectious disease specialist. And I just would like everybody to take a breath, because it is serious, but not in the way most people think. So it is not the plague. This is not Ebola. 90 plus, maybe 99% of us will be fine. And so that's not the issue. But there really is a scary issue. The issue is if we don't act to slow the spread, we're going to have a healthcare crisis. There will be no doctors, no ventilators, no hospitals, because too many people will get sick at the same time. Whereas if we act smartly, we can have maybe the same number, maybe fewer, but over longer. So nothing gets overwhelmed in terms of the healthcare system, so that if you have an appendicitis attack in 2 weeks, there will be a hospital bed for you. But if we act selfishly and hoard and do all these crazy things that none of us are doing, but other people are doing, then we might have that problem. So it's really important right now to act for the greater good and communally more than ever, because here's the thing. This is an incredibly contagious disease. That's the problem. And people are incredibly contagious before they even have a symptom of any kind. They feel great. This is probably true, we're not positive, but with little kids who might be what we call vectors, like the mosquito that carries the infection, they're fine, but they're going to infect other people. Same with teens and millennials, young folks. So That's probably true for us as well. We all have a pretty sharp immune system, and we all take our Juice Plus and try to eat pretty healthy, but it doesn't make us completely protected, but it certainly lowers our risk hugely. But the problem is that if we don't, as healthy people, and if all the young people, and that's why they're closing schools, if we don't stay home, then this is going to spread, and it's going to spread to the very vulnerable population of over 80, over 70, people with chronic illness, and people who are truly immunocompromised. And it's within our power to prevent that, to make that way less happening. Whereas if we think, oh, I'm fine, I can go to the show, I can go have my party, I can do whatever because I'm fine and I take Juice Plus, and right? That's the problem. Yes, you're fine, and yes, you probably won't get sick, but you could be a carrier and spread this all over. Right, there's one guy in New York State, one lawyer who had the sniffles, who in 2 days spread this disease to 50 confirmed people. That's how contagious this is. So that's the issue. It's not that we're all going to die. It's not that we're all going to have some horrible disease. This virus is not Ebola or any of that. It's that it's very contagious, and we have to protect the vulnerable by us sacrificing some of our freedoms for the greater good. Just as a note, the CDC 2 days ago, it was the press conference 2 days ago, said categorically, nobody under 30 has died from this disease. In China, in Italy, nowhere. So young people really are not the concern. So if you're grandparents, if you have little kids, I know we all worry about our kids more than ourselves, take a big breath. That's not gonna happen. Your kids are fine, your grandkids are fine. The problem is if they hang around and go to the playground and go to school, the chances of them becoming infectious and carrying it go up, and then everybody's at risk. The problem, of course, with closing schools is that now a lot of kids are going to be staying with grandparents who are the highest risk group. So nothing is simple in the situation. Every move that the government or the health departments make have a good and a bad, but I think they're doing a really good job under terrible circumstances. So 90+% of us will have nothing or a couple of sniffles, a couple of days of a low fever, a cold-like thing. That's going to be the vast majority. It's the immunocompromised and so on that I'm worried about. So just to clarify that, if you have a stable autoimmune disease like Hashimoto's thyroiditis, you are not immunocompromised. Please pass that on. It's on the internet. It's some crazy thing, right? Immunocompromised means that you have an autoimmune disease and you're on Humira or another biologic or high doses of prednisone. Those immunocompromise us. If you're a cancer patient and recently had chemo, people who are immunocompromised know it. They've been told by their doctors all the things they should be careful of. The run-of-the-mill autoimmune, stable on no medications is not an immunocompromised person. People with bad lungs, however, those I'm worried about, and the elderly folks, hypertension seems to be the biggest risk factor. We don't know why. So people who are on blood pressure medicines for high blood pressure seem to be a higher risk than diabetes or any other chronic illness. So those folks should stay home. It's really not harder than that. Those folks should really think twice about, do they need to go anywhere? We don't need to be in the mall. I mean, I'm sorry for the economy right now, but the next 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, this is going to unfold, and it's going to spread. No one thinks otherwise. It's going to spread. If we act communally, we can lower that spread and contain it. If we don't, we don't know. But it's in the wind now. There's no stopping the wind, just so y'all know. So if you're at high risk, stay home. And if you're not at high risk, stay home so that you don't put other people at risk. If you don't need to be going out doing something, we got a few weeks of just hunkering down, folks. That's just, it's a novel situation, but that's just the way it is. So let me just look at my notes, make sure I didn't miss anything really, really important to share with you guys. Yeah, 2 things. There's this concept that may make sense, make it more visual to you all, and you may have heard of it. It's called flattening the curve. So like I said before, if we get a lot of people sick at the same time versus the same number of people sick over longer time, don't overwhelm the healthcare system. If the same number of people are sick all at once, we run out of ICU beds, we run out of ventilators, we run out of doctors, we run out of hospital beds. Same number of people slowly, we're okay. We can handle it. And that's the biggest problem, is not overwhelming the healthcare system. so that we all are safe. My tower garden lights just went off. That's why it got dark. um, so, um, so that's number one. Number two.
I didn't go there, right?
Number two is I've done this for myself. I have rationed my watching the news to twice a day only. I'm not on my phone all day like I was in the beginning, making myself a little crazy. Nothing changes if I just do it twice a day. I don't need to know more than that. And only get your news from, please, reputable sources. The CDC, the State Health Department, PBS, NPR, National Public Radio, public television. Be very careful of anything else. Yes, there are major news sources, the New York Times, the Washington Post, that do a great job, but there's all this fake stuff going on. So be really careful. If you see something that doesn't quite make sense, it's probably nonsense. The truth is, you want to wash your hands a lot and really well. You want to stay 3 to 6 feet away from people in general. Again, not for you, for them. Do it for them. You don't know what they have or what they may have at home, an elderly parent at home that you could pass something on and they'll pass it on. That's what we're dealing with. So no hugging, no kissing, no shaking hands, elbows, fist bumps, hip bumps, whatever works, just make light of it. But it's really important to do that. We have the next 4 to 6 weeks to get through. It's going to get worse, then it's going to get better, and it's going to be fine. At the end of all this, it'll all be fine, and we'll have hopefully learned a lesson in panic, but maybe also a lesson in how to motivate the American people to change their habits. I mean, you know, I'm thinking we should have a ticker tape at the bottom of every news, of every program on television. 96 people, you know, just died from a heart attack in this last hour, and 75% of them could have prevented it with better diet. You know, maybe that's what we need to do to get people to realize that they have much more control than they think. But don't put that past me. When this is all said and done, that might be a new idea. Then 2 quick last things. If you could, if you're politically active, if you know how to do a petition, let me know. The China people, the folks in China rather, have been doing 3 clinical trials using intravenous vitamin C. Jean Driscoll is one of the lead authors in those trials. She's a very well-known integrative MD who does incredible research. She's very, very trusted. So that because Jean Driscoll is doing these studies in China, we all trust them. They're getting apparently amazing results with intravenous vitamin C. So, and I urge you to call your representatives, write to your Congress and Senate people, and especially to the FDA, because it'll never happen if we don't totally push that to happen. There's zero money to be made with intravenous vitamin C. And on the topic, you know, same goes true for, please refund the CDC. Please unfire all the infectious disease people that you fired last year. And that's one of the reasons we're in this mess. We have tested less than 1,000 people in this country versus South Korea, which has tested 180,000 people in drive-thrus in the first 2 weeks. We are 6 weeks behind every other country. The CDC did not have the funding, did not have the staff, and that's on us. You know, it's our elected representatives, so I urge you to do those 2 things no matter what party you're in. It doesn't matter, right? The CDC is the CDC, whether you're blue or red, whatever your party affiliation or your beliefs, we all need healthcare to be working for us. And the CDC is considered the top agency in the world until now. Truly, the reputation of the CDC is going to take a lot to catch up from this. So I will end there, Cheryl. Thank you for the time. Appreciate it.
And Tamara, should we ask anyone if they have any questions of you, or you?
Sure, I'm open. I may not answer it if it's, no, I'm teasing. I'll try.
Anybody at this
Sue, I
time?
see your hand up, Sue.
Yeah, what about like, I need to go to the grocery store?
Great question. Thank you. Go, of course. Go in off hours. Don't go at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know, go whenever you can at off hours, and same for elderly folks. Go out and do what you have to do, live your life, but only what you need to do, and keep it to less crowded times.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have a question? I'm open.
Yeah, I want to just talk to you. Say, I'm working with adult disabled in a workshop setting, and they have not closed the place yet. Although they've closed schools, they've closed all kinds of things in Ohio.
Yeah.
And I'm just, after hearing you talk, I'm thinking there's no sense in me going to work tomorrow. Because it sounds like, you know, these guys don't have good boundaries. So even though we're telling them to do these things, they're not doing
I
them.
understand. I understand. And I can't obviously tell you what to do about your
I
work.
know. But
But
I'm just
it's
saying it's a really tough scenario right now, because you don't want to. Yeah, it's a tough scenario.
It is. It is for a lot of people. There are moms that have little kids and elderly parents, you know, and they don't feel well. What are the, you know, who you have to have a plan and a backup plan if you have elderly folks. And that's a really good point. If you have elderly family members, neighbors, even if you don't know them, if they're 80 plus, go say hi, make sure they're okay, make sure they have a plan, make sure they have someone to call. If not, you know, help them out. Make sure they've done their grocery shopping, or maybe offer to help them get some groceries when you go for yours. It's the folks over 80 that are really going to be the hardest hit big time. And I'm concerned about them. So anything we can do to protect them, please do.
Okay.
Okay, well, as I said earlier, I really feel like this is a call to action for all of us. There is no question that, you know, our Juice Plus is something that gives us a bit of a protective shield. And again, you know, there's uncertainty around everything, but we know if the body is in optimal health, or that you are working to put yourself in. And tomorrow, if there's anything that I say that's not quite sounding right, you correct me as well, okay? Or reinforce me if you think so too, because I'd like this to be an interactive conversation. But I think that it's really at this point a moral responsibility to reach out to the people that we love and that we care about, who maybe have, you know, looked at what we do or what we believe in and felt like, oh, I don't need that. I think we can offer people something. And I love the way Tamara titled this, you know, be calm and take control. And I really believe that, take control, because what she just shared with you, first, we take control of ourselves, and we all have to rein in the emotions. I mean, because we obviously all have them in regard to, you know, the challenges that we face. But with challenges always come, if the right word is opportunities, but they're, you know, the opportunity to reach out to people and share something that can make a difference. The opportunity to be able to offer something that people can offer others that they may not have known about. And, you know, I think about the conversations I've had with people standing in the health food store, standing in the, you know, the grocery line, you know, what are you doing for yourself? You know, and there are things that it's just like, I think tomorrow, was it you or Dr. Candace Corson that said, you know, additional vitamin D3 if you're not taking that, things of that nature. We as a population, as a community within Juice Plus, we know a little bit more than most people. Most people are totally oblivious to, you know, what they can do other than what they're reading. And so, and I also love Tamara's recommendation that twice a day is enough. We all have that tendency to want to stay, you know, at the latest news every 2 minutes. And so we want to really be able to, first of all, monitor and discipline our own emotions, take control of our time, make sure that we're using our time wisely. I mean, in a way, it's almost like we're on break in one situation. If you got to stay home, you know, everybody has to stay home to a certain extent. You're on break. But at the same time, it's really important to reach out and talk to people. We're so fortunate that, you know, we are able to work from home. We can stay connected to our community via Zoom and, you know, the virtual manners in which we do. And I think as a community, we take many things for granted that maybe we have to share with others that we didn't realize. Certainly, it's, you know, it's a huge blessing to be able to do what we do and know that we have something that makes a difference for others. So I think the courage to tell everyone is one of the things we need to reach for, is that, you know, we talk about courage in difficult times, the courage to reach out and talk to those people who may not know as much, that are standing in the grocery store line, or that are, you know, out there trying to take care of themselves as well. I also, and it's like I was saying earlier, I'm going back to everybody that I know and care about that said no to me. And they're going to get one, I'm going to get another run at them, okay? Not so much because I feel like it's going to build my business, because I feel like it's going to build support for people and health that, you know, we need. And also, I think when people have something that they feel like they're doing for themselves that is good, then that's going to boost their, not only their immune system, but it's going to boost their feeling of confidence in relation to the situation that we're in. I think to go back even to, and this is something I've been doing as well, is a lot of my customers and the people that I'm talking to that are my immediate team members, as well as you all, you know, they told us over the years, anytime that you're in a situation where a lot of folks around you are sick, double up for a while. And Tamara, is that, am I right on that as well? I mean, I have heard this over the 27 years we've had Juice Plus more than once, that even if you take double for a couple of weeks, it's like putting a booster on your immune system.
I agree.
And more, I'm just wanting to make sure I don't say anything out of place, but many times is that, you know, it gives you that just a little extra kick, and it doesn't mean you have to stay on more forever, but it just gives you an extra bit. So it would be a good time to do that, I think. Also to encourage people to put their entire family on it. If only one of the people in the family are on Juice Plus, let's work at getting the whole family on. I also got really tickled. I don't know if any of this came up on your Facebook, but Elton DeBose posted a picture of Jay Martin working at home. Okay, did anybody see that? And he's got his dog in his lap and he's working on his notepad, okay? I think it's just a great example of, you know, let's handle this challenge with as much sincerity, but also lightheartedness as we possibly can to encourage. Business is one, and this is an opportune time, and I think a very important time to share with people about a backup plan. Certainly, working from home is something now that a lot of people are being encouraged to do in their own jobs, and yet that may seem foreign to many people. Just think how blessed we are that we do have a business where we're able to work from home and service people from home and care for people from home. Because hopefully there won't be a lot of interruption for us as far as the economics of this. For a lot of people, there will be some serious interruption as far as economics are concerned. I know when this is really, if I think about Katrina today going through New Orleans, that feels minor compared to the whole world, you know, being in this situation. But I was the only person I knew that still had an income in the midst of that challenge. And so we have something to offer to people that really does give them, you know, a plan B, you might say, and we're blessed to know how to teach that, to know how to teach people to work from home and to be able to stay connected with them through means such as Zoom, which can help support, you know, not only the education of it, but the connection and the communication and the community itself. So, you know, let's talk to people about a backup plan as this passes, because as Tamara said, this is going to pass. So it's just a matter of how do we maintain that model of inspiration and hope as this whole thing continues. The other thing that's really, I think, important to keep in mind is that, you know, our business is one that does well in good times, you know, when people have, you know, that discretionary income, and it does well in challenging times as well. And so, you know, we're recession proof, we're weather proof, and at the same time here, we have a service to bring to people at this point that I think is extremely valuable from both situations, with things like Zoom technology, live streaming. I think everybody was relieved in a sense that our conference was canceled because of the situation, but disappointed at the same time because it's the first time it's ever happened to us. But we don't have to miss a beat, so to speak, as far as what we do in servicing others, because of the fact that now we're all acquainted well enough, even me, with technology so that we can reach out and stay connected. It makes me feel secure that I can see Tamara Sachs tonight tell me about something that I know that she is very proficient at knowing and doing. It gives me a feeling of security. How many people today in this country, in this world, don't have that feeling of security because they don't get to talk to a doctor? They don't get to, they're kind of out there at the mercy of the media, which can have some information that's correct and some that's not. So I can touch Tamara right there on the screen and say, great, our doctor's in the house. And so that's, again, another blessing. The fact that we can continue to do what we do with uninterrupted income is huge, and a huge thing to be able to offer to people. So again, I'm going to come back to, courage. And I think it's really important at this time that we have the courage to really make sure that we're sharing with everyone that we have something that can help them. And not to say that it's going to prevent or, whatever, but certainly the healthier your body is, the better off you're going to be. But we also have emotional support for people. And this is something I think we've always been sensitive to, and especially in this organization. One of the reasons we do the Monday night call on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, is because there's somebody, and usually more than one somebody, that this is their family. And, I really believe that where the Juice Plus family is concerned, not only are we here to support each other emotionally, but we can reach out and put our arms around people virtually and helping to support them emotionally as well. And I think that's huge at a time like this, because whether people are saying it or not, there is, that innate normal feeling of fear. So, we can stay connected. Also, where our products are concerned, just think about these things. We are totally self in the country with the Juice Plus product. All of our product is grown in the US. We don't outsource anything. We don't have to depend on another country right now to get us the things that we need for our products to go out to people. That's huge in this whole situation. We have had the same growers for the entire 27 years. We have a huge backlog. I think they refer to it as the green room there in the encapsulation plant, where if there is anything that happens that's difficult, there's a lot of backup as far as product that is always in rotation. So, we're in very good shape for the shape we're in, so to speak. So anyway, I just thought those were some of the things, the blessings that go along with this business, that we not only have to be grateful for ourselves, but also to offer. And our pressure, I just think we're really, really blessed that everything is right here in the U.S. Anybody else have anything they can think of which makes you feel grateful right now for what we do and how we go about doing it? Anybody want to give any input on thoughts you've had? Anything besides?
I'm extremely grateful for this meeting. I'm grateful for Tamara Sachs information. I'm grateful for your leadership, positivity, and consistency throughout the years. Incredible blessing.
Well, and to all of you the same. We are a family, and families do take care of each other. And it's just like if we think about the conference and the conference being canceled, I know because I was day to day with Paulo and Cheryl, who's our CEO, and Sean Hopkins, and they really always are struggling with total heart to make sure they do the best things for the people in the field. So our company is one that we're not, the first priority is not the money. The first priority is the people. And I think that's something that we also have to be extremely grateful for and know that we're very blessed. Anybody else? Anything else that you feel like you're happy that you're in this place right now, even though the place we're in is one that's strange?
I think this is great for the Tower Gardens too. I mean,
Absolutely.
Supply chain, you mentioned, if in Connecticut in the middle of winter, if there was no supply chain, there'd be no produce, none. if you have a tower, you're safe, you're good, you know, that's all
Well,
good.
this is huge, and it's something we probably should talk about a little bit too, is we're in a good place from a product standpoint as far as our supply chain. But that, you know, is something that may be a concern over time. We don't know yet. And so you're totally right, Tamara, is, you know, people are going to become more and more concerned about their food source, especially as, you know, we're segmented as a world and in these times. So it's a really good idea to be able to have that backup in the backyard, okay?
Yeah.
Because the backup in the backyard might make all the difference. And the fact that it grows such healthy produce, you know, it's not a little candy factory back there, it's a vegetable factory. And I think we're also very blessed for that as well. Anyone else? Anything?
Hi, it's Mo. I just want to mention that Troy Albright of True Gardens was supposed to be bringing 8,000 seedlings to conference. So you might want to go collect some new seedlings for your tower because he has an abundance.
Okay.
Oh my God, poor man.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just wanted to say thank you for saying that, Mo, because I had just harvested my tower garden. I was thinking I need to order more seedlings. So thank you for that. And I just want to thank you, Cheryl and Dr. Sachs, and just everyone that's here, because I have not had all the correct information. And so it has been giving me a little bit of anxiety the last few days. And so just to hear you educate us a little more on that, Tamara, is amazing. Like I feel at ease.
Thank you. I'm putting stuff up on my office, which is separate from my Juice Plus, just to be clear with you guys. But I'm putting a lot of daily information on the Corona issue on my Facebook page because it's easier than taking my phone every 2 seconds and calling patients and answering their questions. So if you want, and I tend to post things from the CDC, so you'll at least have the source for the right information. Can I just add one more thing, Cheryl?
Please,
As we talk about what our product can do, maybe it's just me or my pet peeve, but I would love to never hear the word boost. We don't want to boost our immune systems. It's kind of a non-selective, scary thing. You could boost it into autoimmunity. You could boost it into whatever. It's just not a good phrase. So we optimize the immune function. We feed our cells the food it needs to act or function optimally. We improve immune function. We have a study done in the middle of cold and flu season in the largest hospital in all of Europe, Charity Hospital in Belgium, where they studied nurses and doctors, the most exposed people, right? The ones that are in your face when you're sick all day long. And they found a significant, very significant, over 20% decrease in cold and flu symptoms and missed days from work. So we have that study, use it. It's not the coronavirus, it's flu, but it's very similar. It's the closest study we've ever had to an epidemic or an outbreak of any kind. But we have clearly no studies and no information about how the coronavirus and Juice Plus go together. So just be very careful to never.
And that's something, and that's important for me to hear, and I think for all of us, because we do tend to use words that kind of like make sense that you don't think about, okay, or feel like they make sense. And so that would be important.
And I'm the medical word police, so.
Yeah, we'll be the medical word police. We want that. Because it's very important too that we don't do anything on Facebook that makes any kind of claims or anything, you know, for anybody. You don't want to ever give anybody any kind of false hope. But I do know that, you know, we're all healthier because of Juice Plus, and healthier is going to fare better.
Healthier is a good word. Healthier is a good word. More resistant is a good word. Improved immune
Let's write these
function.
down. Healthier, more resistant. Okay.
Yep.
Give us some words.
We have proven that we improve immune function. No question.
Okay.
We have 4 studies on the immune system, guys.
Improve immune function.
Yep. Improve resistance to colds and flus.
Improve resistance to colds and flu.
Yep. But we don't know anything about this particular virus yet.
Healthier is better. Is that good?
I like that.
And we know we're healthier on Juice Plus.
We have results Absolutely. And we have 4 studies on the immune system. All of them show significant improved immune function. What more could we want?
Show improved immune function.
4 out of 4.
I'm repeating it so everybody can write it down. So you want to be armed with this, and you want to care for people. As I said, this is a call to action. Maybe 3 or 4 of you, I know we're a little bit over time, but what's your plan? What's your plan for this week? Lori Agner, what's your plan for this week? What are you going to do?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because I've been attending, some networking groups, and people are, reaching out to me a little bit more. And we're talking about things that they can do for improved immune function. So this has been an ongoing conversation for a couple weeks now. So yeah, I have been putting on new orders through these conversations. Yeah.
But I think it would be a good idea, make yourself some notes, as to where am I going to go? Who am I going to see? And it doesn't mean I'm definitely one that I feel like we should stay put, but at the same time, that doesn't mean you can't pick up the phone. It doesn't mean you can't talk to, right now, just talking to my family, my brother or sister on Zoom, just so I get to see them. I think people will become closer to, even though they're separated in their own homes. I think this is an important time for that. Anybody else? What's your week going to look like? One more person. Give me what your week's going to look like.
Well, this is Edie. I just wanted to add that along with the prospects, I feel that my customers have a real sense of being well cared for right now. I have one 90-year-old. I have another 92-year-old, an 85-year-old, another elderly person who is just finished chemo. And their awareness of how much Juice Plus is helping them is really heightened right now, I think. And I hope that will help them also share this more with their own friends. But I think they feel really cared for by the fact that I'm always emphasizing Juice Plus and telling them right now, double up, that kind of thing. And part of my plan is I really feel like we've got a message that's valuable, and I was planning to schedule some talks, but maybe they'll have to be online. But I'm still so comfortable with I told one group that I network with, the Maine's oldest and largest women's business networking group. I said, I feel like a one-woman health department. And the woman who heads the CDC in Maine, she gave a directive, basic health practices. And one of them was, she said, this was in a talk for the public, she said, eat well. Mainers don't know what eat well means, and I can spell it out, and really give them specific steps. And I just feel so good about that. And I just wanted to add too that all the homeopaths in the country and in Maine are sharing notes about what will be the most effective homeopathic remedies. And that pairs beautifully with Juice Plus too.
Well, and Juice Plus is so foundational for all of that as well. So I think that's another thing that makes us very, very relevant. And I think that would be the way to look at it, is we are extremely relevant right now. We always are, but I think it's just more in the forefront now than it's ever been. And so we really want to stretch out to people. And when it comes to following close to your customers and supporting them, I would have this question for every you love and care about, you would want to feel as protected as you do right now. Let's stretch out and ask our customers, who do you love and care about that you would like to have the same protection that you feel they have? So, we really can make a difference for people. So we're way over time, but I think this was an important conversation to have, and everybody, kind of feels shy about it in one way because we're all wanting to feel like we're, the strongest everything, but at the same time, we all feel a bit vulnerable as well. And I really appreciate Dr. Tamara Sachs for, kind of more or less laying out, giving us the guidelines and telling us what to say when we don't say it right. Okay, I love that. Dr. Sachs, anything else you'd like to say as we close here? You're on mute, so we don't know what you're saying. You're on mute.
There you go. I just said thank you all. I appreciate you all. And thank you, Cheryl, for your leadership as well.
Thank you. Thank you all. Well, let's see next week. Let's come back reporting our week and how many people we've talked to and who we've helped and who we've given information to and how we're making a difference in the community, because again, I feel like it's a moral responsibility right now. So thank you all. Have a great evening. Love you. Goodbye.
Love everybody.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.